2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I thank my colleague from California for supporting this very important legislation. We all of us in California have experienced what happens when you have radical environmentalist nonsense determining policy. We have just gone through one of the worst droughts in our history. Yet during that drought, those wonderful California environmental planners saw to it that billions of gallons of fresh water were dumped into the ocean instead of being redirected towards producing food crops in our Central Valley area, or providing water to drink, or providing water so that people could afford to have water throughout our state. So instead, it was dumped into the ocean. Now, what we needed and what we need now that the drought is over is more water storage, because we are in favor of people, not some grandiose concepts of what a better view counts. Now, without people in it, that is, of course. Now, we need to think about what our policies will impact on average people. And what we have in this radical environmental approach is opposition to storing water now that we have some extra water right after a drought. Now, whose side are you on? If you can't tell me you're on the side of ordinary people, because when water prices go up, and there's not enough water for the crops, the price of food goes up and the price of water goes up. Who's the worst hurt? America's lowest income people are the ones who are hurt the most, the ones who can't afford to pay the little extra for food that it costs when it costs more money to grow crops in the middle of a drought. So with that said, I dramatically step forward. Let's do something for the people, not some environmental theory, nonsensical theories in most cases, that we are facing doom if we don't store, if we store water, that's going to be bad for the environment. I would ask for an additional minute.
One additional minute, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
I mean, I'm sorry. That makes no sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to ordinary people either, that after a drought, that in some way it's against the environment to make it easier for us to store water so we don't have to have the same destruction and the same lowering of the standard of living of our poor people when the next drought comes around. This act by Mr. Tom McClintock, H.R. 1654, will make it easier for us and quicker for us to build these dams. And instead, by the way, if we don't do this, many of those dams will probably be built. Only we're talking about the evaporation not of water, but of money. After you have to go through years and years of paperwork, what evaporates is the money that should be going into education programs, transportation programs. No, it's wrong all the way around not to permit people to go as fast as we can, rationally and engineering-wise, to build storage for our water supply today, so when the next drought comes around, ordinary people won't be hurt. I now yield back the balance.